Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And the funny thing happened since yesterday.
Well, it happened yesterday, but we didn't. We already put the other video up.
Yeah, Peter Dinklage. We did a video on Peter Dinklage yesterday talking about how he was unhappy that Disney was doing a movie featuring dwarfs in this day and age.
Well, he was concerned about representation.
Representation for the live action Snow White movie. You know, another live action Snow White movie because we haven't had nearly enough live action Snow White movies. So now Disney has responded, and now there are rumors that the dwarves could be replaced with magical creatures.
Yes, that is exactly what's going on. So before we get into it any further,
please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. Over 255,000 subs. Thank you so much for the support. We do talk a lot about Disney, having worked in and around the company for a number of years. And yeah, you run piratesandprincesses.net. You put the story up this morning that the dwarves could be getting the boot. And it could possibly be, I think, a reaction to Peter Dinklage, because I don't think that was the plan.
well, it might have been though. They said the casting stuff they saw before. So here, let me show you what's going on. It's not the whole quote here, but they were very, very proud to cast Latino actress as Snow White, but you're still telling the story of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, Dinklage said, adding, you're progressive in one way, but you're still making that backward story about Seven Dwarfs living in a cave. What are you doing, man? That's the censored version. The original version had a lot of F-bombs in it. Plus, I didn't live in a cave, but that's another story entirely. So, The Wrap had actually posted an update to this. Disney had responded to them directly. So when they asked for a comment, this is what they were told. To avoid reinforcing stereotypes from the original animated film, we are taking a different approach with these 7 characters and have been consulting with members of the dwarfism community. We look forward to sharing more as the film heads into production after a lengthy development period. Okay. Yeah, they said it's heading into it. So I don't know if that means that they're still in the lengthy development period.
Yes, that means that they cast her. They wanted to get fist bumps for casting a Latina actress. I have to wonder if they would have cast her since the West Side Story bombed. But yeah, this tells me that this thing is just all lip service now. And I really do have to wonder if they were kind of like, yeah, hey, Peter Dinklage said that stuff. Oh, one of the ideas we're thinking about was magical creatures.
Well, that's what I'm saying, because they're talking about how we've been talking to the dwarfism community to make sure they're portrayed accurately. However, instead of dwarfs, Disney will fill the void with a group of what they describe as magical creatures, according to casting sheets that The Wrap has seen. They're currently looking for voice actors to give these creatures personality. It's unclear if they won't have it the same role as the dwarfs. Will they be wanting jewels? Will they have names like Sleepy, Grumpy, Bashful? Or they be substitutes for the 7 dwarfs. So in the statement they gave after what he said, when he's like, the way they're representing him, they're saying, we're talking to the dwarfism community to make sure we represent you fairly. But the casting sheet says something completely different. They're just using magical creatures. Dwarves aren't magical.
So Willow's magical.
Well, I mean, in this version of this film.
Oh my God, are they going to cancel the Willow show?
No, they're already working on that one. They're already filming it.
Well, here's the thing. The dwarves, like, if they handled it differently, they were heroes. They were hero characters.
Right. But in this version, they aren't magical. I just want to point that out.
Yeah. But I'm like, what's wrong with having, solid representation, a bunch of, if you made these dwarves more, I mean, they had the names, whatever, but they weren't just stereotyped by their names, but they were actually good characters. And they were heroes, like they were in the original film. People loved them.
People just looked at them, misjudged them, and they're actually a lot more to them than that, which obviously there would be.
Yeah. So what's wrong with that? I'm failing to understand what's wrong with making these characters and then hiring actors to play the part. What's wrong with that?
Even further back than that, I'm questioning why they're even doing this at all.
Oh yeah.
I mean let's just not obviously do it at all, and then problem solved.
But I'm like, so here's the thing too. That's the other way of looking at it, is if they're going to do CGI creatures, magical creatures instead of dwarves, you're taking 7 roles away.
Right.
From
they're just voiceovers now.
Yeah, from dwarf actors. I mean, you know how hard it is to get those roles now?
Well, is each magical creature going to be a stereotype for something?
Oh my God.
There's going to be each magical creature is a stereotype for some cultural something. And then they'll have to make sure they hire voice actors that represent that culture. And they'll be like as they stereotype it further.
I am predicting a massive bomb in the making.
Well, it's going to be a bomb anyway, because most people don't want this. They're like, would you stop with these stupid live action movies? And think about Snow White. Snow White was like Disney's first big thing. I mean, it reinvented animation. It was art. I mean, it still is. I mean, it was completely, took everything and put it on a whole other level, made it feature film length, and they almost lost the company over it.
Yeah, Disney literally bet the farm on Snow White. I mean, and it was art. It was art for art's sake. And those first, 5 Disney movies were art, and then eventually the business sensibilities had to kick in and be like, okay, we gotta make stuff cheaper, we gotta make it, whatever. But those first 5 films were
this one was one they shouldn't have been able to do, but they did everything they could to make sure they were able to do it, just to show what they could do. It is what it is, and there's no need. There's already been 1,000,001 live action reboots of Snow White. You don't need another one because it has a Disney name on it. Because by the sounds of it, it's gonna be nothing like Snow White.
No, so we've got music by the La La Land and team. We've got Gal Gadot as the evil queen, directed by Mark Webb, which I think is a good thing. But still, like this sounds not good. This sounds
very
like
it's by committee the whole way around.
It sounds like it's by committee. Absolutely.
But I do think it's funny though. They're saying that we've been taught that in this old casting sheet that they had seen, they were looking to replace it with magical creatures, but the comment they gave the rap was, oh, we're talking to the dwarfism community. Well, it sounds like you were going to replace them anyway.
Yeah, which, like I said, that actually is somehow worse because you actually had 7 potential roles.
I bet they don't replace them now. Or did he know they were going to replace him, and that's why he made the comment?
Or
he didn't get cast.
He didn't get cast. He's like, I'm Peter Dinklage. Like, I am the poster child for this community in Hollywood, and you didn't cast me. Maybe he's salty.
I don't know, but I'm just like, it's funny to me because Disney's they were very quick to put out a statement. He did this in a podcast, and then suddenly they're putting out statements.
Yeah, there's some weird shit going on with this movie. I mean, you can't do a Snow White movie. You can't have Disney do a Snow White movie without dwarfs. You just can't, because they're too well known. They just came out with a new ride.
Which they got shit for that. Then they'll probably change it after this again.
Yeah, I mean, these characters have been bankable and marketable for years. And I'm sorry, your new CGI, whatever, if they would go that route, that's not going to have the same impact. I think I don't know. This sounds like a train wreck.
Plus, the Walt Disney Company what cemented them was Snow White.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's like, let's just take everything that made us where we are, and this is flush it down the shitter.
At some point in time, Disney is going to have to realize that they cannot appease every audience.
No, there's no way.
And that they might politically correct themselves into oblivion.
Honestly, the best thing they can do, if they're really concerned about it, is slap that label on them that they keep doing. I mean, that's the easy way to do it. Then that legally shuts people up. Slap the label on it. Don't worry about it, and go make new shit. Go make another movie with her and these characters, and it can be similar to Snow White, but not be Snow White. Go make something new.
I think it should be. I think it should be a dwarf man and 7 hot babes, and that's what you do.
This sounds like an anime.
It does. Oh my god, that should be. If it isn't, it should be. That's what we're gonna do.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do it, but I'm not. If I'm doing some shows, I'm doing shows of my own stuff. I'm not making an anime show just based on that. But it's just like I don't know. What are they effing doing over there?
I don't think they know. I mean, I'm sorry. Like, all the shit we're looking at with Disney, and we didn't do a separate video on the Star Wars situation with Kathleen Kennedy, where she, we're going to do this other young adult novel, and then they walked that back, and now she's being told to stick to Star Wars. I don't think they know what the fuck they're doing.
Well, here's a couple things that are interesting I noticed too, unrelated but related. Every April or end of March, they did a Run Disney event, and they've been doing it for years, and it was Star Wars themed. This year, it's not. Another thing I noticed is, now they haven't announced it yet, but they announced the Marvel Day at Sea, and they've announced a new Pixar Day at Sea. Now, they have not announced a Star Wars Day at Sea yet, but they usually only have like the two, and now they have Pixar and Marvel. So I'm sitting here waiting to see if they announce Star Wars to them, and they totally might. But if they don't, I'm definitely gonna be starting to be like, because they pulled them from the races, and now they might pull them from the Day at Sea, It's like they're deliberately like, putting Star Wars, or they're trying to make it that it's specific to like Galaxy's Edge. You have to go there.
Yeah, I mean, again, remember at the end of the day, Chapek is a bean counter. I know he doesn't like being called a bean counter, but he is, and he's got to be looking at it's like Sony, because No Way Home was more of a Sony thing than a Disney thing. He has to be looking at that box office number and being like, yeah, we need to do more of that. If we had a Star Wars movie that had Han, Luke, Leia come back like all the Spider-Man, that would have been amazing.
The rumor was, and I think this was from Doomcock, I don't even know for sure, but someone mentioned it, was that supposedly the new person that's taken Bob Iger's place and Chapek are putting the smack down and saying that we're not doing things that are divisive like that anymore. We're not. Probably, and honestly, it probably comes more from the fact that Parks guests were saying that they are hostile to fans. Yeah. And like Pete Warner was saying that.
Yeah.
And now they're like, we got a perception of this and we have to change it. That's a rumor. I don't know anything about that. I just heard it from someone. I want to say it was Doomcock, someone said. I honestly don't know.
Yeah, I mean, there clearly are going to be some changes under Chapek, and the whole diversity and inclusion initiative, that was an Iger thing. And you got to realize, Iger was up Hollywood's ass. Iger was a schmoozer. Iger wanted to run for office.
And all these diversity keys and all that crap, that was Iger.
Yeah, that was all Iger. And he was, as I understand it, looking at the White House eventually.
And China.
And so he was doing, and putting stuff in play, hoping to get himself there. Chapek is just like, we got to make money, and whether or not he's going to be allowed to do that.
Oh, well, they're going to allow him to do it because they need him to. There might be a lot of pushback, though, from everybody else. I mean,
because
investors will.
Yeah, Iger's people are already embedded. Their D&I teams are already embedded.
Well, they're going to get a lot of push from the investors and stuff.
They already have. Yeah. Investors are asking him questions like, what the hell? Why can Pedro Pascal say whatever the hell he wants to on social media, but you fire Gina Carano?
Yeah, well, yeah. That's something I've been saying since the beginning. As a woman, that pissed me off so bad. It's like, why can he say what he wants, but she can't? I'm just tired of this shit. Anyway, that's all unrelated, but related. Disney needs to get this figured out. First thing I would do is scrap this. You're not so far along that you can't scrap this. This is a bad idea.
Yeah.
It's going to piss off people. And you did it to yourselves because you went out there and you made this big deal how we're going to recast voices for our park things and we're going to redo this ride and redo that ride and make them all culturally sensitive. And we're worried about animatronic chimpanzees and everything else. And we have a fifth key of diversity and inclusion. But then you keep showing in your behavior and actions that only means for certain people.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you're going to get pushed back because you put yourself out there as this big champion of justice. And then you're not actually championing everyone. And there's no way anybody could champion everyone. That's the problem.
No, I think with legacy IP, I think most people that aren't on Twitter understand if a movie is 70 or 80 years old, it's going to have some outdated notions of what is and what is not acceptable. Like,
choose to watch it or not. No big.
I think HBO did it right with Gone with the Wind. They threw a disclaimer on it, and they had their little intro thing, and but the reality is you're doing a disservice, especially to the black actors who worked on that movie, to just nuke it from existence. Song of the South, the gentleman who played Uncle Remus did get an honorary Academy Award for that, and you're going to nuke it from existence.
Right, because it might make some people upset.
Because it makes Twitter mad.
And it's just like, use it as teachable moments, like, wow, that's really, well, I can't believe, back, we call it, they looked at things back then. You can still find things we like about it, but here's a couple things they probably could have done differently. Okay, move on. It's not that big a deal. But it's interesting because now they got themselves painted in a corner because now they're trying to be like, oh, we're already talking to the dwarfism community, but the casting sheet says magical creatures, if true. So it's like you really painted yourself into a corner, and no fifth key is going to save your ass now.
All right, we gotta wrap this up.
Yep.
Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. We'll talk later.
Bye.